This is the story of Seo-jun, who became the world's strongest simply by farming with his cute monster pets and even evolving them, like these poison bees evolving into a cute human-like bee, and even flirting with this flirting with this cute dragon. In the previous episode, we witnessed Seo-jun's fear and panic when he realized that he was on the 99th floor. Then we see Seo-jun sitting crouched and writing something on the ground with a stick, while all the rabbits and Theo observe curiously. He comments that since they are on the 99th floor, they can't expect help from the outside, and they need to make necessary arrangements to survive here. He also looks up at the cave's hole and says that they need to know about the nearby environment for their safety. Then Seo-jun turns and asks Theo about the surroundings outside the cave. He wants to know if there are any monsters nearby. Theo, with both arms widened, replies that there are no monsters near the cave, but there is one just a bit further away. Curiously, Seo-jun asks what kind of monster it is. With a serious face, Theo replies that it's a crimson giant bear. As soon as Seo-jun hears the name, a chill flows through his spine, as he remembers a giant bear from when the third blue moon appeared and almost killed him. Now, with his whole body shaking in fear, Theo continues with his trembling voice, describing the terrifying nature of the monster. He explains that every time he passed by it, the bear always glared at him as if it wanted to eat him. While the black rabbit and white rabbit try to calm Theo down, Seo-jun, with a worried face, starts thinking. Just as he expected, he is only safe in this cave. As soon as he steps outside, he will face a dog's death. He realizes that he needs to get stronger as soon as possible. Then his gaze shifts towards the queen bee, who is drinking nectar from tomato flowers and enjoying her life to the fullest. While from behind Seo-jun, we can see Theo imitating the growling of the crimson bear, scaring the black rabbit. Seo-jun continues his thoughts, realizing that thousands of cherry tomato flowers will be blooming soon, and if the number of flowers increases, the number of poison honeybees will also increase. In that case, he can use an army of poison honeybees to patrol near the cave, ensuring no monster can get close to the cave entrance. Furthermore, he can also ask the bees to tie a rope, which he can make with onion leaves, to the tree outside the cave. Using it, he can safely make it out of the cave. With a confident face, Seo-jun declares that for all these plans to work, he needs to become stronger. Then, Seo-jun stands up from his sitting position, holding his thighs, and tells Theo that he has a mission for him. Theo asks what the mission is. Seo-jun, with a happy face and pointing his finger, says it's an extremely critical mission that only a sales cat can accomplish. He addresses Theo as the sales cat and asks if he can do it. Hearing this, Theo gets excited, and with a serious face, he confidently says that Seo-jun can bet on him, no matter what the mission is. The scene then shifts, and we see some hunters wandering around while others are chilling near the fire on the 38th floor. Theo observes them from the hill above. He thinks to himself that compared to the last time, there are a lot more people here, and it seems like they are securing their place here. Theo jumps from the hill excitedly, saying that it doesn't matter because this time, the more buyers there are, the better the results will be. With his swift movements, he safely lands on the ground, shocking the hunters. Then Theo, raising his hands, was about to say that the wandering merchant is here, but before he could, all the hunters started shouting and running towards Theo, saying he is finally here. They instantly surrounded Theo. Then, we see a man wearing vibrant green shorts arrogantly handing a large bag to Theo. He says that he will buy all the cherry tomatoes that Theo has, shocking the girl and the boy who were standing beside the man. While Theo watches cluelessly, a fight breaks out between the hunters. The hunter with silver armor questions how the man in green shorts could cut the line. He asks if it's his first time here, and mentions that those who arrived first have already made arrangements regarding who will buy the cherry tomatoes first. Hearing this, the man in green shorts gets mad and exclaims how ridiculous this is. He mentions that even the Phoenix Guild is a powerful guild, and asks if the guild thinks they can monopolize the entire third floor. He wonders how dare they be so cocky. Meanwhile, Theo watches the scene with a worried face, unsure of how things will unfold. The hunter with the silver armor and the man in green shorts both grab each other's collars, about to fight. However, Theo breaks the tension by raising his hand nervously and pleading for them not to fight. He announces that he wants to speak first. Still nervous and holding his waist, Theo announces that starting today, he is changing the method of selling the tomatoes. The hunters curiously ask how he is changing the method and request him to explain in detail. Still nervous, Theo replies that starting today, he will be selling 500 cherry tomatoes in each batch, and the person who pays the highest price will get the tomatoes. Upon hearing this, The hunter with the silver armor and the girl beside him widen their mouths in surprise. Theo continues, saying that those without money can simply leave while holding a bucket full of cherry tomatoes. He shows them the bucket, which is also made up of onion leaves. He adds that the auction begins now, with a starting price of 35 tower coins per piece. Then the scene shifts, and we see Seo-jun sitting and watching the rabbits work. The black rabbit is also sitting beside Seo-jun, lost in thought. Seo-jun realizes that the popularity of the cherry tomatoes outside the tower is higher than he thought. He comes to this conclusion after observing that the hunters tried to win over Theo by giving him cat treats. He is confident that his auction idea will work. Seo-jun believes that since the supply of cherry tomatoes is low and the demand is high, the rich will be willing to pay the maximum price. This means he will be able to make more profit from the auction. He shares this thought with the black rabbit, who is holding a cup made of onion leaf. Both Seo-jun and the black rabbit enjoy their cherry tomato honey drink as they discuss their plans. Then, Seo-jun sips his tomato honey juice and continues, saying that he also has another important mission for Theo. He will be assessing Theo's trading skills through this opportunity. After finishing his drink, Seo-jun stretches his hands to relax and suggests they get back to work. He asks the black rabbit if he could go and make preparations for dinner. The black rabbit happily agrees, stretching his hands in agreement. Suddenly, a quest appears in front of Seo-jun from the tower manager. The quest demands 1 glass of magical tomatoes mixed with honey, which Seo-jun just drank. The reward for completing the quest is a job-related skill. Seo-jun, with a worried face, explains that squeezing the cherry tomatoes will take a long time, and he has to work now, so he will give her the drink later. However, more windows pop up in front of him, demanding the drink right now, claiming that the reward he will receive is very impressive and that he will regret his decision if he delays. Confused, Seo-jun asks if the tower manager is trying to bribe him with quest rewards and wonders if the tower manager wants his juice that badly. But the tower manager continues to insist that Seo-jun give her his juice. After thinking for some time, he smiles and tells the tower manager to wait a minute. He starts moving towards the tomato plant. Then we see Seo-jun giving the juice to the white rabbits, while all the other rabbits enjoy the drink happily. Our queen bee sits on Seo-jun's shoulder, eagerly waiting for when he will give her his juice. Then we see Seo-jun crouching beside a hole full of cherry tomatoes, which was covered with a blanket made up of onion leaves. He takes out some cherry tomatoes and places them in a bucket, also made up of onion leaves. Seo-jun closes his eyes, holding a bunch of red cherry tomatoes, and with great force, squeezes them. The juice from the tomatoes collects in a glass made up of onion leaves. Seo-jun calls our queen bee and asks for her help, while the juice still drips from his hand. The queen bee happily agrees and produces some sweet honey from her mouth. She throws it onto the tomato juice proudly, while Seo-jun watches the whole process with joy. And voila, Seo-jun's special juice is ready. He presents it with a straw, also made up of onion leaf. Then Seo-jun tells the tower manager that the juice is ready. The tower manager comments that she is really curious about the taste of Seo-jun's special juice. She is so happy that she flaps her wings in excitement. Suddenly, the juice vanishes from Seo-jun's hand, indicating that the quest has been completed. However, Seo-jun becomes curious when he hears the word wing and wonders what kind of creature the tower manager is. On the other hand, we see the tower manager happily enjoying Seo-jun's special juice. After taking a large sip, she finds it so tasty that she smiles, her mouth open, and she feels like she's in heaven. Little pink hearts can be seen floating around her face, showing her delight. Then the scene shifts towards Seo-jun and the tower manager praising him for his delicious juice. With a kind face, Seo-jun replies that he is happy she liked it. Curious about the special quest reward, Seo-jun opens the quest reward and receives a unique skill called beekeeping. With this skill, Seo-jun becomes the owner of all the poison bees and can command them freely. As the skill level increases, he can have more than one beehive, meaning more waifus, more queen bees. Seeing this skill, Seo-jun becomes very happy and excited, clenching his fist. He was worried about not being able to command the little bees to patrol the cave entrance, but now, with this skill, every problem will be solved. He looks up at the sky and tells the tower manager that he is very happy and also thanks her. Seeing Seo-jun happy, the tower manager also feels joy and blushes slightly as Seo-jun praised her for the first time, her fingers gently circling the glass. She lies on the floor, still blushing, and holding her cheeks with her hand. Her other hand continues to circle around the glass as she watches Seo-jun through her crystal. However, Seo-jun interrupts the romantic atmosphere by expressing his curiosity. He asks if the tower manager is perhaps a pig with a pair of wings, given her appetite. Upon hearing this, the romantic atmosphere shatters. The tower manager becomes angry and starts shouting at Seo-jun, calling him stupid, a fool, and telling him to go to hell. Seo-jun, holding his ears, apologizes, realizing his mistake. As the tower manager's anger subsides, he wonders why she became so furious. Then the scene shifts, and we see the hunters still shocked by the revelation of the auction. Among them, Dong-shik appears to be the most shocked and worried. He realizes that if he can't secure the cherry tomatoes today, his image as a caring father will be destroyed. In a state of panic, Dong-shik breaks the silent atmosphere by shouting that he will start the auction with a bid of 41 tower coins. Another member expresses concern, questioning whether they are going over their budget. Dong-shik responds, saying they will figure out their budget later, but the most important thing right now is to secure some cherry tomatoes. The green shorts, however, increases the price to 45 coins, shocking Dong-shik. Soon, everyone starts increasing the price, going from 45 to 46, and gradually up to 60 tower coins. Witnessing this, Dong-shik and the girl become even more worried. Dong-shik realizes he doesn't have that many tower coins and asks the black-haired girl if she has any tower coin. Unfortunately, she replies that she doesn't have many because she only brought a few for gifting someone. Then, another shocking event occurs as someone shouts from behind that they will give 100 tower coins per cherry tomato, leaving everyone in shock. It turns out to be Michelle, the vice president of the gourmet food company we encountered in the last episode. Michelle continues with a smirking smile, stating that he will buy all 500 cherry tomatoes, offering 100 tower coins each. Theo asks if anyone is going to increase the bidding, but in the silence that follows, Theo declares that all the cherry tomatoes are sold to Michelle. Still in shock, Dong-shik wonders why Michelle, who is known as the master of all hunters, is present. But then, he notices a member standing behind Michelle, a member of his own Phoenix Guild. Dong-shik angrily asks what he is doing here, to which the member bows his head and politely apologizes, addressing Dong-shik as Sir. He explains that his sister instructed him to guide Sir Michelle to the location where the wandering merchant was. Dong-shik realizes that his sister is the CEO of a pharmaceutical company, and if Michelle and his sister are working together, it will be very difficult to compete against such influential figure. Grinding his teeth, he resolves to at least win a few cherry tomatoes in the remaining 2 rounds of the auction. Proudly standing, Theo announces that he will start the auction for the next. Now, Theo starts the second round of auctions for the next batch of 500 cherry tomatoes, starting again with 35 tower coins. Kim Dong-shik, who is determined to win this batch, immediately raises a big bid of 60 tower coins. However, Michael outbids him with 100 tower coins again, leaving Dong-shik shocked with his mouth open. In panic, he grabs his teammate's collar and starts shaking him, asking if he has some tower coins to spare. The other hunters have already given up on winning against the rich man. Theo counts twice and then declares that the bid was successful, and Michael has bought the second batch of cherry tomatoes too. Then he starts the auction for the third round, but Michael stops him, saying that there is no need for that. He would take the third batch for 100 tower coins, too. Michael is buying all 150 cherry tomatoes for 300 coins. Their deal is made, and now Dong-shik is even more shocked and can't process what happened, still holding his teammate's collar. He falls on the ground on his knees, thinking how it was impossible to fight back against a billionaire. His teammate tells him not to be disheartened and that they should aim for the next opportunity. On the other hand, Michael's team has also loaded the tomatoes onto their backpacks, while Michael holds a cherry tomato with a smirking smile watching the tomato. He tells his team that they are going to the first floor immediately. Meanwhile, as Theo is packing up his money, the girl who gave him churu last time and her friend approach him. Upon seeing her, Theo points his finger and says he knows her name. After thinking for some time, he pronounces her name as Buha, but Suha doesn't mind and confirms that Theo is correct. She then offers him some churu and asks if they could take a picture together again today. Suha has brought more churu to give to him. Excited to see his new favorite snack, Theo controls his desires and declines the churu, expressing that he would prefer her to give him coffee instead, in return for taking a picture. Suha searches her bag and takes out a packet, asking if this is the coffee mix he was talking about, and it is exactly what he wanted. Encouraged by this, Theo asks if she also happens to have something like salt and pepper. Suha and her friend think for a while before pooling their resources and giving him the salt and pepper they had. They ask if it will be enough, and he thanks them for it. Unbeknownst to Suha, This was another mission that Seo-jun had given to his merchant cat employee. Seo-jun had told him to ask for things like salt, pepper, and coffee if people wanted to take pictures with him, and depending on his performance, he would consider letting him become a salesman for an hour or two to achieve the coveted position. Theo immediately agrees to the deal with a wicked smile, thinking that with this, he will become a sales cat and spend good time on Seo-jun's lap again. He takes many pictures with Suha, and after checking the photos, she thinks that they came out well too. Theo thanks her for the deal, and as he stretches his hand out for a handshake, Suha notices his toe bean, and she cannot stop herself from touching and pinching them. They feel really soft and good to her, but Theo asks her what she is doing, and she is startled. Suha explains that she couldn't help it because it felt so good, and she was also going to give Theo the churu in exchange for letting her touch his paws, since that was a very relaxing experience for her. Theo is surprised and asks Suha if he can also touch her big melons, if humans really feel relaxed just by touching his feet, and she confirms that it's true. She flatters Theo, saying that humans don't have those soft and pretty toe beans, and they are lucky just to touch them because cats usually don't like holding hands. This revelation shocks Theo as he realizes he has made another great discovery that he can use to earn more. He thinks that his toe beans are a lucky charm for him. Then, Suha's friend asks Theo if he could take a picture with her too, since she was the one who gave him the pepper earlier. He has no problem with that, and after taking the picture, he moves on to the next step. He puts his hands forward and asks the girl to touch his toes, and in exchange, he wants some reward. The girl obliges, and after touching his paws, she gives him some of her rations, including packaged food and butter, among other things. Theo is really happy and laughs loudly again with a wicked smile, while the girl thinks that he is really cute and decides to bring churu for him next time. Theo is thrilled that just by letting humans touch his paws and getting rewards, he could become a sales cat for 24 hours. However, he suddenly remembers that he had another mission too and drops the items immediately. Meanwhile, Suha is uploading the selfies she took with Theo on Instagram and smiling to herself when Theo suddenly appears behind her and startles her. He calls her Churubua and asks her what she is doing, and she asks him if he has still not left. Theo said he has an important question for her. He wants to know if she came from a place called the Republic of South Korea. Hearing this, Shua was surprised and asks Theo how he knows about that, and Theo replies that he found out because he smelled a familiar scent from her melon. Suha has not yet understood everything, but Theo asks her if she could help him, and she has no idea what he wants her to do. Back in Seo-jun's cave, the poison honeybees are collecting nectar from the cherry tomato flowers and pollinating them as Seo-jun watches over them. They are also collecting the honey they make into his water bottle. For each milliliter of honey they give him, Seo-jun's proficiency in the beekeeping skill goes up a little. Gradually, as the bottle is half filled, the proficiency increases, and the skill reaches level 2 from level 1. Seo-jun thinks that it is going well. The honeybee population is steadily increasing, and his beekeeping skill is also leveling up quite quickly. Moreover, the queen bee is laying eggs nowadays after drinking Seo-jun's special juice, and he has not seen her in a long time and missed her. There are also some ambiguous changes in the description of the beekeeping skill, and he does not know if they will make any difference, but the maximum number of beehives he could own has increased from 1 to 2. He now thinks that if he can split the beehive later, he will be able to own both of them and increase his efficiency. Also, the bottle is about to get full of honey, and he thinks that he will need another container to store it. He would be lucky if he could get a bottle, but he can think about that later. Right now, he has a more important task to do. The carrots are ready to harvest, and Seo-jun picks one out of the ground and calls his rabbit friends to eat it. They immediately rush to him as Seo-jun keeps on harvesting the agility carrots and gains 10 XP for each of them, while also increasing the proficiency of his skill harvest level 2. He had only been able to harvest them yesterday for the first time. Before that, he harvested the blessed agility carrot on the day of the blue moon a few days ago, and the rabbits could not control their happiness as they saw the ripened carrots. The type of food that can be eaten and is grown in the cave has increased by 1. Now Seo-jun tells them to take one each, and the rabbits are really glad. They even bow down to him, treating Seo-jun like a king, and Seo-jun asks if it really was such a big thing. Then as they sit around the fire and eat the carrots, Seo-jun looks at the information window of the agility carrot. It can increase the agility of the consumer by 0.1 points for 10 minutes, and this effect can be stacked up to 10 times. Besides that, it has all the health benefits of cherry tomatoes and more. Not only does it burn down 10 grams of fat upon being eaten, but it also boosts vision. Now, as Seo-jun eats the carrot, he thinks that since they are even more beneficial than tomatoes, the carrots will be really popular once he has enough to sell them. Seo-jun finishes eating quickly and then moves to harvest the remaining carrots so that they can be stored. The rabbits also help him, removing the leaves from the carrots and transporting them to storage, and even the black rabbit helps, although he is really not good at farming. He collapses while carrying some carrots, and Seo-jun asks him if he is already tired, but it turns out that he was just trying to be smart and eat the carrot while lying down. But Seo-jun catches him in the act, and the father rabbit also beats him for stealing. The storage is almost full, and Seo-jun decides to stop harvesting the carrots for today and wrap up the job. But then suddenly, there is an influx of system messages telling him that he has gained XP from harvesting the carrots and that he has finally leveled up. Seo-jun is also surprised to learn that he has already reached level 10. He has acquired a bonus stat for leveling up, and a quest has also been issued. Seo-jun asks the Tower Master what the quest was this time, but the manager replies that it was not from him this time. This is a job quest that appears when a hunter reaches level 10. One must clear this quest to get the new class traits and move on to the next level. Seo-jun has heard about the job quests from the hunters in the real world. For normal hunters, it was often combat-related quests, such as monster subjugation. But since he is a farmer, he is sure that the quest will be something different. Seo-jun opens the quest window and finds that it asks him to expand the cultivable area by 50 square meters. He thinks that this will be easy and gets to it almost immediately. He completes the quest and gets rewards for doing so. He has reached level 11 and acquired 1 bonus stat. Also, he has gained 10 tower coins and 1 job trait as reward. Seo-jun is really glad that it is over because it was much more exhausting than he thought it would be. He is tired, and so are the rabbits who have already collapsed. But at least he has a good job trait as a reward for his hard work. He can now acquire XP every time he creates 1 square meter of the crop field, and he thinks that it was a good thing he completed the quest quickly as he can gain more experience now. After eating and planting the carrot roots, the field has increased more than he thought it would. Seo-jun is too exhausted to do anything else for the day, and he tells his rabbit friends that they should also sleep and finish their jobs tomorrow. As he goes to his spot, the rabbits are also heading back to their burrow, but then their parents stop them from coming inside. They tell them that they cannot come in and slam the door in their faces. The rabbits are sad and shocked. 2 of them bang on the door while another one just sits there and cries. Seo-jun also comes to them after hearing their voices and realizes that they have been kicked out of the house. But they are full-grown adults now, so it is time for them to be independent anyway. The rabbits are not really cheered up by what he said, and Seo-jun says that it is too late to create new burrows right now, so for today they should just sleep with him. The rabbits cheer up a bit and agree to his plan, and now Seo-jun sleeps on his bed with his rabbit friends all over him. He laughs, saying that this was also good. Sometimes it feels soft and warm. Meanwhile, at Theo's location, Dong-shik is feeling stressed and worried. He knows his daughter will be upset if he fails to bring back cherry tomatoes this time. Suddenly, Suha appears with Theo, surprising Dong-shik that the cat merchant is still around. Suha informs Dong-shik that the cat has something to tell him. Curious, Theo asks Dong-shik if he is the leader of the people who came from South Korea. Dong-shik confirms this, but he's puzzled about why the cat is asking. Then Theo proposes a contract with him. He hands Dong-shik a piece of paper with the details of their contract mentioned on it. Dong-shik reads the contents of the contract, and it states that he must give 50 million won to the family of Mr. Park Seo-jun, who lives in the Sosa district of Bachan City. Theo adds that they also have to tell Seo-jun's parents that he is doing well. For their part of the contract, they would be paying Dong-shik 50 tower coins, and the better reward is 200 magical cherry tomatoes that Theo hid during the auction. As he puts a basket of cherry tomatoes in front of Dong-shik, Dong-shik is stunned and cannot believe what he is seeing, and started crying. He thinks that with this amount of cherry tomatoes, he will surely win his daughter's heart, and she will call him the best dad ever. He is lost in the imagination of a happy future, and then asks Theo about Seo-jun. Dong-shik assumes that since it was a message for his family, Seo-jun was a hunter who could not currently get out of the tower. Theo hesitates to give him an answer because Seo-jun has forbidden him to. He wanted Theo to keep his being on the 99th floor secret, and now, as Theo thinks for a while, he comes up with a good cover story. He tells Dong-shik that Seo-jun saved his life on the 40th floor, so he was just doing some errands for him. Even this story is not really helpful in keeping a low profile, and Dong-shik is shocked as he hears about someone being on the 40th floor. No one has yet officially reached the 40th floor, and he asks Theo if the person named Park Seo-jun was the one who discovered these magical cherry tomatoes. But Theo replies that he could not tell him anything more than this. After all, Seo-jun was a great man, and he had many secrets. Dong-shik can only think about a person being alone on the 40th floor. Even if he made a team using only the elite members of their guild, it would be difficult for them to cross the 39th floor. He has not heard about any hunter who got that far in the official records. Dong-shik thinks that Seo-jun must be a solo hunter who is not affiliated with any guild, and that is why not much is known about him. But it also means that he is remarkably talented and strong, and now he thinks that this is a great opportunity. With this contract as an excuse, Dong-shik feels he might stay in touch with Seo-jun, and if things go well, they may even be able to recruit him into his guild. Not only that, they may also be able to monopolize the distribution of cherry tomatoes, which are surely going to be harder to obtain in the future. Thinking about all this, Dong-shik tells Theo that they should enter into a contract. Both of them sign the contract, and it is finalized. Dong-shik says that the deals signed inside the tower are valid even when one is outside, but to deliver more accurate information, he would like to meet the cat merchant after 10 days. He also tells the cat to notify Seo-jun on his behalf that Kim Dong-shik, the leader of the Phoenix Guild, will take responsibility for delivering the news to his parents. At Seo-jun's cave, the young rabbits who were kicked out of their house have started making new homes for themselves. As the black rabbit pulls him towards the newly created homes, Seo-jun finds that they are already complete. He is amazed by the houses they have made that look much better than their initial house, and the rabbits are also quite proud. He compliments them, saying that the roof was made of green onion leaves, and the walls looked quite solid too. He thinks that the shovel rabbit and the sickle rabbit must have worked the hardest for this, and both of them are quite happy about their accomplishments. Also, they have made a small room to rest in between work hours, and Seo-jun wishes that he also had something like that. With that, he again compliments the rabbits and pats their head. Then he declares that they should have a housewarming party, and the rabbits are all excited. It had been a few days since the young rabbits moved out of their parents' house, and now they had made their own. While the couple of rabbits were still clinging to each other as they sit to eat a celebration feast, Seo-jun raises a toast for the rabbits who have worked so hard. He's drinking the cherry tomato and honey juice in his tumbler, and the rabbits have made small glasses for themselves using hollowed carrots. Seo-jun pours the juice on the black rabbit, thanking him for always supplying them with such excellent quality fish, and he is quite pleased. Then he compliments the rabbits in general, saying that they are quite smart to think of using hollowed carrots as glasses. Though it was a little small for Seo-jun, it was still fun since he could eat the cup after finishing the drink. But then he notices the rabbit couple getting quite flirty with each other, and as he stares at them, Seo-jun says, "This is quite suspicious." He thinks of the reason they made their children leave and then comes to a conclusion and tells the rabbits that they are soon going to have more siblings. But they don't understand what he wants to tell them. But then, suddenly, a system window opens up in front of him, and it informs him that the seed store has opened. Seo-jun is happy as he finds that today was the due date for the seed that he forgot about, and he excitedly opens the store, wondering what he can buy this time. He has the option to buy 100 strawberry seeds for 0.5 tower coins, 100 potato seeds for 5 tower coins, and 1,000 lettuce seeds for 0.1 tower coin. The thing that excites him the most is lettuce, since he really wants to have some roasted meat wrapped in lettuce leaves. But then he realizes that fish won't cut it, and he has no other meat, so he decides to skip lettuce. With that elimination, only strawberries and potatoes are left, and both are also good options. He has enough money to buy anything he wants, but can only buy one, so he is really confused. But then he decides to go with potatoes since they are not only a great source of carbohydrates, but also quite versatile. Seo-jun selects the option to buy the 100 potato seeds, and 5 tower coins are deducted from his account. Also, he had earned 50 seed store loyalty points, making their total up to 56 points, including those in the past. With that, The cooldown period for the seed store starts again, and now he can access it after 1 month. And then a big sack of potatoes falls from the sky, and Seo-jun is taken aback because he was expecting it to be another small bag. He barely dodges the potato sack that was about to crush him and says that he was quite scared for a moment there. The rabbits are also shocked, and the husband rabbit is especially furious since his wife was scared. Seo-jun apologizes, and then he picks up a potato to see its quality and thinks that it looks really delicious. He plans to plant it right away so he can harvest it quickly and cook it in different ways. He is really excited to boil and steam them and even make potato pancakes, and the rabbits also start drooling along with him. But then Seo-jun says that they should take rest today, and tomorrow they will plant all the tomatoes. The rabbits are also glad to get an early break. Then Seo-jun wonders if Theo is doing all right too. He thinks that the Theo must have completed the errands he told him to do by now, and Theo is just doing the last of the tasks Seo-jun assigned him. He is in the Central Merchants District, which is like a well-established market town with a huge population and big buildings. All kinds of creatures peacefully live there and do their jobs without feeling any danger. In one shop, Theo is buying the things Seo-jun had asked him to. He has already purchased blankets and pillows and is now looking for ladles, spoons, and bowls. As he rummages through the items on sale, he finds a decent frying pan and a pot. Theo asked the dog merchant about the price of the frying pan, and he said it's 1.6 tower coin. But Theo thought it was too expensive, so he asked for a discount. After thinking for a while, the dog merchant said that since he hadn't seen Theo around before, he assumed Theo is not from this floor. So he decided to be generous and offer all the goods for 1.5 tower coins. Hearing this, Theo made a disappointed face, saying it's too low. He turned around and started to walk away, declaring that he will not buy anything. The dog merchant got panicked, worried that he might lose the sale. The dog merchant asks him to stop, saying that he couldn't leave like that. He is already nervous, but then Theo replies that since he could not offer him any discount, he couldn't buy things from him. The shopkeeper admits his defeat and says that he is willing to sell the items for 1.3 tower coins, but Theo gives him his price, 1.2 tower coins, or he would simply leave. The shopkeeper takes the deal, saying that he cannot go any further. The cat places the coins on a nearby barrel and thanks the shopkeeper as he walks away with the things he just bought. The shopkeeper is also amazed by his skill. Initially, he took him for a beginner, but it seems that the cat was a master. But then he notices that the coins were wet and that a paw print was left on the barrel itself, and he wonders what it was. It was Theo's sweat, as he was too nervous while negotiating. He is panting now that he is away from the shopkeeper, and then he exclaims that he finally did it. He shouts that he finally bought something without being an idiot, and the other people on the road stare at him. And this was thanks to Seo-jun, who gave Theo a detailed lecture on how to not be a stupid customer. In the cave, he had told the cat 3 golden rules to get a good deal. First, no matter what price the shopkeeper offers you, always ask for a discount. Second, if they refuse to give you a discount, just leave. And third, if the shopkeeper stops you, get a discount 3 times. Seo-jun told Theo to remember just these 3 rules, and he would not be fooled. And it really worked, as he said. Theo smugly laughs to himself as he says that now he is a wandering merchant who knows how to get a discount. But then as he reaches a corner, he hears some familiar words. Someone was trying to sell some items from outside the town hour, and Theo looks towards the merchant. He is shocked to see a familiar face. It was Scarim, the goblin merchant who scammed him on his first day as a traveling merchant, and right now he was trying to do the same with another cute newbie using the same tactics. Scarim tells them that this was a secret he was revealing so that more newbie merchants would become high-level merchants, and the beginner merchant seemed to be convinced by his words. Theo is furious upon finding out that the scammer is in action once again. Theo wasted no time, fueled by anger, and clenched his fists. He cursed Scarim, vowing to teach him a lesson that day. His voice thundered as he shouted at Scarim, startling him. Theo approached Scarim with unwavering determination, while Scarim was too shocked to react. To regain control of the situation, Scarim immediately adopted a friendly tone and placed a hand on Theo's shoulder. He inquired about Theo's well-being and expressed his concern. However, Theo was no longer a pushover. He forcefully pushed Scarim's long nose away, telling him to get lost and daring this scammer to approach him. Scarum continued to feign innocence, perplexed by Theo's accusations. He questioned what Theo meant by calling him a fraud. Scarum argued that he had been kind enough to offer Theo great items at the lowest prices. Now he found himself with a knife held to his throat. Theo's anger grew further. He pointed at the newbie merchant who held a tumbler, noting that it was the same item Scarum had sold to him, claiming it was a magic item. Then Theo pointed directly at Scarum and exclaimed, "Magic item, my ass!" He declared that all the items Scarum sold were nothing more than trash. Even this tumbler was just a piece of metal that regulated the outside temperature, a cheap trinket easily found outside the tower. Scarum became increasingly bewildered and nervous in the face of Theo's accusations, thinking, how did this pushover Theo grow balls? Oh, sorry, I mean become so confident. Scarum, now wearing a sweet smile, attempted to defuse the situation. He suggested that it was all just a misunderstanding, and Theo might have been confused about the item he had sold. He proposed they discuss it elsewhere. However, before he could finish his sentence, Theo erupted in shouts, calling for the guards and accusing Scarum of being a wicked goblin trying to scam a beginner merchant. Faced with no other choice, Scarum clutched the tumbler and cursed at Theo. He vowed to seek revenge for ruining his scheme and swiftly made his escape. Meanwhile, Theo stood proudly, having thwarted the fraudster's plan. As Scarum made his hasty exit, Theo continued to vent his frustration, trying to appear as a hero in front of the newbie merchant. The newbie expressed gratitude and politely inquired about Theo's name. With pride, Theo introduced himself and left the scene, striking a heroic pose. He warned the newbie to be careful and not fall victim to scams again, and the newbie thanked him for his advice. Inside the newbie's hood, fierce, sharp red eyes watched Theo as he departed. In a low whisper, the mysterious figure uttered something, and 3 police dogs obediently appeared, bowing before her. In a commanding tone, she reprimanded the 3 police dogs, reminding them that they were supposed to keep watch and not allow anything, not even a fly, to pass by unnoticed during her mission. The white short police dog, in a panic, quickly apologized and claimed they had indeed been patrolling the area, unaware of how the wandering merchant cat had managed to slip in. With a swift motion, she removed her hoodie, revealing her true identity. She was an undercover high-level officer known as Zerth, who had been on a mission for months to apprehend Scarum, the fraudulent goblin. Frustration clouded her face as she explained that just when she was on the brink of capturing Scarum, everything had unraveled. Once again, the junior officers offered their apologies to Zerth, but she was unyielding. With a dominating and angry demeanor, she fixed a stern gaze upon them and declared that a simple sorry would not suffice. Instead, they would have to write 100 letters of apology each. As she left, the junior officers were left trembling, fully aware of the consequences of their failure. Zerth couldn't help but dwell on how close she had been to capturing the fraudster Scarum. She also found it irritating that she had to play the role of a fool to deceive Scarum, and all her meticulous plans had been destroyed by Theo. Now she was determined that Theo, the one who had thwarted her mission, would pay the price for his interference. The scene then shifted to Theo, who was strolling happily through the jungle, enjoying a fried fish without a care in the world, seemingly oblivious to the mess he had caused. Meanwhile, Xiao-jun was busy teaching the sickle rabbit how to precisely cut a potato into 4 equal parts. After observing and learning swiftly, the rabbit successfully managed to cut the potato into 4 perfect segments. Xiao-jun proceeded with determination, firmly placing 1 piece of potato on the ground and carefully covering it with soil. The husband rabbit diligently watered the area, ensuring the newly planted potato would have the moisture it needed to grow. With a smirk, Xiao-jun turned to the husband rabbit and asked if he wasn't shocked by the fact that with only 100 potatoes, they would be able to grow 400 potatoes. The husband rabbit listened intently as Xiao-jun went on to explain that he had come across this farming trick on YouTube, originally meant for passing the time. Little did he know that something he had watched just for entertainment was now helping him survive in this unfamiliar world. As Xiao-jun completed the planting process, a notification from the system informed him that he had gained 1 XP for each potato he had planted. After a considerable amount of time and effort, they had finally planted all the potatoes. Xiao-jun cheerfully announced to his rabbit family that since they were done with the hard work, it was time for a sweet potato party. The rabbits were overjoyed and eagerly anticipated the feast. However, before they could begin the party, Xiao-jun had a small task for the baby rabbits. He explained that the upper part of the sweet potato acted as a seed, so they needed to separate it before enjoying the sweet potato. They should then plant the upper part again in the ground for future growth. Upon hearing this, The baby rabbit seemed a bit disheartened and flopped down on the ground. But just then, the warrior rabbit intervened. He pointed out that before Seo-jun planted the upper part of the sweet potato to increase his experience points, they should simply dig out the sweet potatoes. The rest, like planting the upper part, could be handled by Seo-jun himself. The rabbits chuckled quietly, covering their mouths in amusement. Their joy was short-lived, though, as Seo-jun informed them that, to their disappointment, he didn't want to monopolize the joy of planting sweet potatoes that day. He wanted the rabbits to enjoy all the fun. This left the rabbits feeling a bit down once again. After that, all the rabbits enthusiastically began working together. The sickle rabbit and the mother rabbit dug out the sweet potatoes, while the baby rabbits took on the task of transporting them. Despite his initial reluctance, even the warrior rabbit had to do his share of the work. After a long hour of diligent labor, they finally planted all the sweet potato sprouts. As a reward for their hard work, the system notified Seo-jun that he had successfully created a 500-square-meter sweet potato field. Additionally, he gained 100 experience points, a bonus stat, and leveled up once. Then, something unexpected occurred. First, the husband rabbit raised his hand, followed by the wife rabbit. The husband rabbit, along with another male rabbit, began to sing while pointing their butts toward Seo-jun. Simultaneously, the wife rabbit and another female rabbit pointed their butts toward Seo-jun and joined in the singing. As they sang, they moved around Seo-jun in a circle, leaving him utterly confused. The tower manager informed Seo-jun that the rabbits were doing a cheerful dance in anticipation of a good sweet potato harvest and were preparing for their party. It was a celebration before the harvest, a tradition among the rabbits. Seo-jun wasted no time and sat down on the ground to start harvesting the sweet potatoes while the rabbits continued dancing in the background. As Seo-jun carefully removed the dirt from the ground, a bright golden light suddenly emitted from the area where the sweet potatoes were growing. The light was so intense that everyone had to shield their eyes. When the light finally faded, something astonishing had occurred. The sweet potatoes were now a radiant golden color. This left Seo-jun in a state of shock. Upon examining the properties of these golden sweet potatoes, he discovered they were called sweet potato pumpkins of the sun. They were a mutant variety of sweet potato, and when consumed, they provided cold resistance for 24 hours, helped burn fat, and improved health. Furthermore, the system notified Seo-jun that he had successfully we found Dongshik standing at the door of Seo-jun's house, ringing the bell. He inquired if this was Seo-jun's residence. Seo-jun's younger brother, along with his parents, hastily opened the door, filled with hope that Seo-jun had returned. However, upon seeing Dongshik, they fell silent and asked who he was. An awkward silence hung in the air. Seo-jun's mother served some berries to Dongshik, apologizing that they couldn't offer anything more delicious. It had been so long since they had guests that they didn't have anything special on hand. Dongshik politely assured them that he was grateful for whatever they could offer, even if it were just a glass of water. Dongshik politely assured them that he was grateful for whatever they could offer, even if it were just a glass of water. The atmosphere grew somber as Seo-jun's father, wearing a sad expression, explained that they didn't know where Seo-jun was. He had gone missing 5 months ago. Dongshik responded by explaining that he wasn't actually looking for Seo-jun. He then handed over his card and apologized for not introducing himself sooner. He introduced himself as Dongshik, the leader of the Phoenix Guild's 5th team. Suddenly, Seo-jun's younger brother, with a shocked expression, jumped to his feet and ran to his father, exclaiming that it couldn't be the same Phoenix Guild he was thinking of. This startled his father, and as he examined the card, his hand began to shake. It was indeed the Phoenix Guild, the top guild in Korea representing the country. Dongshik, still feeling a bit awkward, tried to downplay his significance, but the entire family was in an uproar. Seo-jun's father, still in a state of panic, asked Seo-jun's mom to bring out the high-grade melon and remove the berries. Seo-jun's mother hurriedly took the plate of berries away. Seo-jun's younger brother, still in shock, and Dongshik remained in an awkward silence. Dongshik reassured them that he was perfectly fine and encouraged them to sit comfortably. With concern etched on their faces, Seo-jun's mom and dad asked Dongshik why he was in their house and whether he knew anything about Seo-jun's whereabouts, especially since he was a hunter. Dongshik then took out a white envelope, and with a serious expression he explained that he was here to deliver this envelope at Mr. Seo-jun's request. He handed the envelope to Seo-jun's family, and the atmosphere became even more tense. As Seo-jun's family held the letter, their faces turned pale, and they were clearly distressed. Seo-jun's father slammed his fist on the table, exclaiming in disbelief about how ungrateful Seo-jun could be, and expressing his shock and frustration at Seo-jun leaving them like this. Seo-jun's mother was in tears, covering her face, while Seo-jun's younger brother seemed utterly devastated. To clear up the misunderstanding, Dongshik quickly clarified that the letter was not a will and that Seo-jun was not dead, as they might be thinking. Tears still welled up in Seo-jun's father's eyes as he opened the envelope, expecting something else entirely. To his utter surprise, it wasn't a will but a check for 50 million won, which equated to about $37,000. This unexpected turn left Seo-jun's dad in a state of shock. Dongshik continued, explaining that Seo-jun had urgently entered the tower and wanted to convey that he was well. Seo-jun had asked Dongshik to deliver the check to his family. Hearing this, some of the worry in Seo-jun's family began to dissipate. Suddenly, Seo-jun's father couldn't contain his excitement. He shouted joyfully while holding the check high, expressing his pride and confidence in his son. He exclaimed that Seo-jun was indeed smart, just like him, and that he knew his son would achieve great things wherever he went. Meanwhile, Seo-jun's mother and brother were still trying to process the situation, their confusion evident. Seo-jun's mother, still concerned, asked if Seo-jun was truly doing well. She wondered why he hadn't come to deliver the check in person. Dongshik explained that Seo-jun couldn't leave the tower due to an ongoing quest. He reassured them that some quests could take years to complete, so there was no need to worry, and Seo-jun was safe. Dongshik then turned to Seo-jun's younger brother and asked if he was Seo-dol, to which Seo-dol replied affirmatively. He then politely asked Dongshik to talk with him more comfortably. Then, with a serious expression, Dongshik inquired further about Seo-jun's disappearance. He mentioned that he had heard from Seo-jun's parents that he had gone missing for 5 months. Dongshik wanted to know if Seo-dol had any idea about when and how Seo-jun had entered the tower. In response, Seo-dol explained that Seo-jun had vanished suddenly 5 months ago. Despite inquiring with South Korea's Hunter Association, they couldn't find any records of Seo-jun entering the tower or awakening as a hunter. Dongshik suggested that there might have been an error and promised to visit the association himself to investigate further. After hearing the whole story, Dongshik entered into deep thought. Seo-jun's family claimed that he had entered the tower about 5 months ago, yet there was no official record of his entry. Furthermore, it remained a mystery how he managed to climb all the way to the 40th floor especially given that, in the 10 years since the tower had appeared, no one had reached beyond the 38th floor. If Seo-jun had truly reached the 40th floor alone, he would be an unparalleled genius. In the midst of his contemplation, Seo-dol asked Dong-shik if there was any way he could also enter the tower and become an awakened being. He believed that he possessed talent similar to Seo-jun's. However, Seo-dol's father swiftly scolded him, delivering a light punch to his head. He emphasized that Seo-jun was toiling tirelessly inside the tower, fighting monsters without rest or proper meals, while Seo-dol was causing trouble on the outside. Dong-shik supported the father's words, explaining that becoming a hunter was an incredibly perilous occupation, where one's life could be in danger at any moment. He added that the association typically recommended only one person per family to become a hunter, which seemed to calm Seo-dol down. After some time, Dong-shik decided it was time to leave. However, Seo-jun's father insisted that he stay a bit longer since they hadn't been able to offer him anything to eat. Dong-shik politely declined, explaining that he had come directly from leaving the tower and now needed to reunite with his own family. He bid farewell to Seo-jun's family and departed. As he sat in his car, the system notified him that the quest was completed, bringing a slight smile to his face. But then his phone rang, and the caller ID read, "My Happiness." It was none other than his daughter. Dong-shik's expression lit up with a wide smile as he answered, slipping into father mode and asking her if she missed her dad. The scene then shifted to Seo-jun, who had crafted a container from onion leaves and filled it with water. He placed 3 sprouted carrots in the container, explaining that these were the leftovers they hadn't eaten. He put the carrots in water so that when the leaves grew to a certain extent, he could cover them with soil, leaving only the root part exposed, which would then be sown into the ground. This was done because the parts that had been eaten will not regrow. When the leftover plants flowered above ground, they could collect the seeds. While Seo-jun was enjoying the serene surroundings and the pretty flowers, the tower manager asked if the dried sweet potatoes were ready. Startled by the reminder, Seo-jun stood up, realizing he had almost forgotten about them. The warrior rabbit and the white baby rabbit also seemed curious. Seo-jun went to check the dried sweet potatoes with the white and warrior rabbits on his shoulder. Indeed, they were ready. He gently picked up a piece, holding it close to his face. The sight made the mouths of the white and warrior rabbits water with anticipation. Seo-jun and the rabbits took a bite, and it was absolutely delicious. The sweet potatoes were so good that the rabbits felt like they were floating in the air, holding their cheeks in delight. Seo-jun's eyes sparkled with joy as he exclaimed that no one in the world could resist the soft, chewy, sweet, and addicting texture of these sweet potatoes. He was enjoying them so much that he had almost eaten them all unknowingly. Realizing that he had to share, Seo-jun saved some more sweet potatoes to dry. While the rabbits were still savoring the meal, the tower manager reminded him that he seemed to be forgetting something. Then, Seo-jun felt a need to make things right. He apologized to the tower manager for the delay and went on to prepare dried sweet potatoes in an onion leaf bucket. However, as he was about to hand it over, he hesitated, thinking there might be a better way to present it. The tower manager, growing impatient, urged him to hurry up, but Seo-jun paused again. He felt that simply offering the food in the scallion bowl didn't seem quite right. He had a different idea. The tower manager reassured him that the presentation didn't matter, even if he gave the dried sweet potato directly in his hand. But Seo-jun had something special in mind. He carefully wrapped the dried sweet potatoes in a plastic bag, tied it with a cute ribbon made from onion leaves, and presented this beautifully wrapped gift to the tower manager. Seeing the thought and effort Seo-jun had put into packaging the dried sweet potatoes, the tower manager fell momentarily silent. Seo-jun beamed with excitement, explaining that this way, the dried sweet potatoes would stay fresh for a longer time without worrying about spoiling. Yet the tower manager remained silent, which left Seo-jun puzzled. He anxiously asked her if she didn't like it. In a bit of a panic, the tower manager finally replied with a simple thanks and accepted the gift-wrapped dried sweet potatoes. Seo-jun sat there with his arms crossed, pondering the tower manager's lukewarm reaction to his carefully packaged dried sweet potatoes. He had thought she would appreciate the effort he put into making them look nice. However, it seemed the tower manager's response hadn't been what he expected.
Subscribe to the channel or I will get upset, and thank you all guys for 100K subscribers. It means a lot. Now, let's continue to the video.
On the other side, the tower manager was blushing intensely, her cheeks red, and she was trembling while holding Seo-jun's special food. She couldn't contain her excitement and shouted about how she couldn't eat something so cute. Meanwhile, we could see Seo-jun enjoying the dried sweet potatoes. He marveled at how he had dried 40 sweet potatoes, yet they seemed to disappear in a single day. The rabbits were munching on the dried sweet potatoes joyfully. Then suddenly the queen bee approached Seo-jun and greeted him. She handed him a yellow, gooey ball made of her saliva and corn pollen. Seo-jun checked its status and found out what it was. It seemed that, since there was no honey in corn, the bees couldn't collect honey from it, so they gathered corn pollen instead. Seo-jun decided to try the special treat the queen bee had prepared for him. As he took a bite, he smiled warmly and commented that it was slightly bitter but sweet, with a chewy texture that felt like candy. He thanked the queen bee for her special treat, and she couldn't help but feel happy. Suddenly, the queen bee took charge, commanding all the little bees to gather around. She stood proudly, her chest held high, as the little bees brought Seo-jun a bunch of special treats that she had prepared. Seo-jun happily accepted these gifts. However, just as things were getting merry, Theo came jumping and shouting that he was back. But as soon as he laid eyes on the queen bee, he instinctively got into a defensive posture. He was still quite scared of her. Seo-jun assured him that the queen bee was on their side. Still skeptical, Theo cautiously approached the queen bee. To everyone's surprise, the queen bee offered Theo some of her special treats. However, Theo's fear of pollen overcame his desire for treats, and he clung to Seo-jun's leg, saying he hated pollen. Seo-jun tried to pry Theo off gently, explaining that his clothes were his only set, and if they got damaged, he'd have to go around naked. The queen bee couldn't help but hold her mouth with her hand, cheekily laughing at the scene. After calming down, Seo-jun addressed Theo as Sales Cat Theo and asked if he had completed the job Seo-jun had assigned him. Theo proudly replied that he had indeed completed the mission and had even sold out all the goods. Seo-jun eagerly inquired if Theo had conveyed his message to his family. Theo showed Seo-jun the system notification that confirmed the quest had been completed. This meant that Seo-jun's message had been delivered. Seo-jun was overjoyed, thinking that the 50 million won must have reached his family. Now, with a sense of relief, Seo-jun felt tension-free. He had disappeared from his family without saying a word, unable to leave the tower. But at least now his family knew that he was doing well. However, Seo-jun couldn't help but reflect on how his family must be surprised to learn that he was farming with his cute little rabbit family inside the tower instead of hunting and clearing floors. He imagined that if his younger brother Seo-dal found out that his job was farming, he would certainly tease him, as farming was Seo-dal's specialty. On the other hand, his father had a hobby of growing flowers, so he might show a great interest in Seo-jun's agricultural endeavors. Feeling a little emotional and missing his family, especially his mom, as how he used to eat food prepared by her with his family, he looked up at the sky. Suddenly, the warrior rabbit grabbed Seo-jun's leg, startling him. Seo-jun looked around and noticed that all the rabbits, Theo and the queen bee, were looking at him, trying to comfort him. It worked, as Seo-jun patted the warrior rabbit with his right hand, and Theo with his left, wearing a warm smile. The queen bee sat on Seo-jun's head, hugging it and patting him gently. It was truly an emotional moment for Seo-jun, who himself acknowledged that they were like his family. Then Theo, with one hand on his pouch, mentioned that he had used 50 tower coins for the contract and 14.2 for the errand, leaving him with 208.8 tower coins. Seo-jun was left shocked, holding the large pouch of tower coins, while Theo proudly stated that the things Seo-jun had taught him were indeed useful. But the surprises didn't end there. Theo emptied his pouch, revealing modern cooking equipment. Seo-jun was left speechless as he held a frying pan, unable to believe that he was seeing one after so long. Meanwhile, the warrior rabbit was watching the pan intently, and one baby rabbit had stuck its head into a saucepan, adding a touch of humor to the moment. Then, Seo-jun finds that even the cast iron pot has an information window, and its own item marks since it was made in the tower. He finds that the item was ranked D, and its manufacturer detail was disclosed. He asks Theo about the last part, but before he can get an answer, he spots a dagger on the ground. As he picks it up, he feels like he's inside the tower for the first time in ages. His eyes gleam with wonder and excitement, as he says that this was his first weapon ever since he came inside the tower. The information window of the dagger does not tell him much, and is full of question marks, but it mentions that the dagger was an E rank, and only those with strength above 5 and a level above 10 could wield it. Seo-jun is curious about the question marks, and he asks Theo where he got the dagger from. But Theo is busy playing with the rabbits with a paper wind toy. Theo revealed to Seo-jun that he found the dagger in a lottery shop and thought Seo-jun might like it as a gift. Seo-jun, intrigued, examined the dagger more closely, hoping to learn more about its properties. However, when he checked the status window, it displayed only question marks. The only information he could glean was that he met the necessary criteria to use the dagger. Seo-jun contemplated trying out the dagger, but the tower manager intervened. She cautioned him that this dagger was an unappraised item, which was why its information wasn't visible. Using an unappraised item could be perilous. However, she offered to appraise the dagger for Seo-jun. 2 new quests appeared, one to send the dagger to the tower manager for appraisal, and another to send roasted sweet potatoes as a gift to the tower manager as part of the appraisal process. Seo-jun found this situation suspicious. As far as he knew, using unappraised items usually didn't result in any harm. Unappraised simply meant the item's rank was unidentified, and it could be either good or bad. Despite his reservations, the tower manager seemed a bit panicked, insisting that Seo-jun didn't understand the potential risks. Eventually, Seo-jun agreed to proceed with the quests. However, the tower manager's next action surprised him. The system notified Seo-jun that the tower manager was wiping her saliva, and Seo-jun catches her red-handed, saying he knew it, but he lets it slide and decides to do the quest. First, he handed over the dagger for appraisal. The tower manager employed her appraisal skill, concluding that the dagger was not a harmful item. Then, as Seo-jun presented the dried sweet potatoes, the manager returned his dagger to him. Seo-jun, now in possession of the dagger, proceeded to read the information inscribed upon it. The dagger bore the name Eyes' Training Short Dagger, and had been employed by the Ranger Eyes of the Red Mountain during his childhood training days. Seo-jun couldn't help but be astounded by the information he had gleaned about the dagger. The mere fact that it was a named weapon was a rarity in itself, and even the most modest of named weapons in the world outside the tower could fetch prices of at least 50 million won. Seo-jun was left in awe, contemplating Theo's remarkable ability to acquire such an item through the lottery. It was becoming increasingly evident that Theo possessed a keen talent for locating valuable and practical items. Then we see Theo and the baby rabbit enjoy their churu treat, and Seo-jun takes a moment to inspect his farms. Suddenly, he assumes a fighting stance and uses the newly acquired dagger to slash at the onion plants in front of him. The dagger proves to be quite sharp, and he turns to the rabbits asking for their thoughts on his newfound skill. They respond by clapping their tiny paws, and Seo-jun can't help but smile with pride. Theo, noticing Seo-jun's satisfaction with the dagger, inquires if he likes it. Seo-jun expresses his genuine admiration for the weapon, acknowledging that Theo made an excellent choice. However, Theo becomes irked when he hears his name used instead of his title, Sales Cat Theo, which Seo-jun had promised to give him in return for completing the missions. Seo-jun quickly corrects himself and addresses Theo properly. Theo, still maintaining his air of arrogance, accepts the apology and informs Seo-jun that he'll let it slide this time. He then playfully pushes Seo-jun's hands away. In a surprising turn of events, Seo-jun notices that despite Theo appearing as a naive pushover at times, the cat actually possesses adorable golden paws. Before he knows it, Seo-jun starts playing with Theo's paw pads, finding him incredibly cute, and even begins making funny faces. Annoyed by Seo-jun's fascination with his paws, Theo questions what he's doing. Seo-jun playfully responds that Theo's paws look incredibly adorable. He then holds Theo in his lap and offers him another pack of churu. However, the warrior rabbit is looking a bit downcast as Theo is getting all the attention. On the other hand, Theo is overjoyed and celebrates internally, considering that, in the end, even Seo-jun, as a human, can't resist the undeniable superiority of his paws. He chuckles, arrogantly urging Seo-jun to hurry with the treat, but Seo-jun doesn't appreciate Theo's attitude and begins to suspect something fishy. Silently, he picks Theo up and places him on the ground, stating that Theo's 1-hour shift as the sales cat is over. The warrior rabbit tries to contain his laughter. Panicked, Theo clings to Seo-jun's leg, pleading for more time as the sales cat. However, despite Theo's numerous requests, Seo-jun remains firm in his decision. With no other choice, Theo angrily decides to reveal his secret weapon. He places his hand on the pouch and asks asks Seo-jun to take a look at the other items he possesses. As he empties his bag, modern food items start spilling out, leaving Seo-jun trembling with excitement. Seo-jun excitedly crawls on the ground, holding salt, while Theo proudly brags about how he obtained these seasonings as a reward for taking pictures. Seo-jun pours a bit of salt into his hand, and as he tastes it, he's overwhelmed by the salty flavor, something he hasn't experienced in months. Curious, he smells and tastes the other seasonings, savoring the spiciness of the pepper, the rich flavors of various spices, and the depth that these seasonings bring to his food. He can't contain his excitement, exclaiming about the newfound flavors. However, the warrior rabbit, after tasting the salt, doesn't seem to enjoy it, as it's too bitter for his liking. Theo takes this opportunity to ask Seo-jun if he believes he deserves to be the sales cat now. He requests to be the sales cat for 2 hours in exchange for these items. Overjoyed, Seo-jun lifts Theo up and swings him around, declaring that he can be the sales cat for as long as he wishes with these items. As Seo-jun dances around in delight, the baby rabbit has already begun trying out the salt on his carrot. With the help of the new utensils and seasonings, Seo-jun cooks a fantastic meal that day, and its enticing aroma wafts out of the cave. He prepares grilled fish, seasoning it with salt and pepper before skewering it with onion stems. As he hums while cooking, the smell reaches the rabbit's home, waking them from their slumber and enticing them to the lunch gathering. Seo-jun greets them with a cheerful good morning and inquires if they're hungry because he's prepared a special meal to showcase his culinary skills. The feast includes fish and onion skewers, roasted potatoes, dried sweet potatoes, roasted fish, roasted onions, and, of course, salt and pepper. Seo-jun encourages everyone to choose their preferred dishes and add more salt and pepper if they desire extra seasoning, but most of the white rabbits found the pepper too spicy, but the black warrior rabbit relished the seasoned meal. Theo, on the other hand, was still sleeping when Seo-jun respectfully woke him up for breakfast. Seo-jun asked how Theo wanted his roasted fish seasoned, but this question irritated Theo. He hissed at Seo-jun, emphasizing that no one should play around with food by adding anything to it. Theo chooses to sit on Seo-jun's lap and enjoys his plain roasted fish. Seo-jun, still a bit frustrated, tells Theo that he doesn't understand the greatness of salt and pepper. After their hearty breakfast, Seo-jun and the rabbits return to their daily work, harvesting potatoes. Seo-jun used his named dagger to cut the tomato bunches, and to his surprise, not only did his farming skill increase, but his levels and dagger skills improved as well. He was shocked to discover that cutting crops with the dagger had a similar effect to defeating monsters and increasing his dagger skill. Seo-jun realized that a B-ranked named item like his dagger was indeed a wonderful tool, and he was determined to work hard and quickly increase his proficiency with it. After harvesting a bunch of cherry tomatoes, Seo-jun handed them to Theo, assigning him the task of plucking them one by one and storing them in his bag. Theo, clearly unhappy with this task, complained and questioned why he had to do such manual labor when he was the sales cat. Seo-jun, who had a strong work ethic, replied that there was no shame in working with their hands. He reminded Theo that he, Seo-jun, was the chairman of this farming operation, and that he too was actively involved in farm work. This revelation stunned Theo, who then asked Seo-jun if being a chairman was a higher position than being a sales cat. Seo-jun confirmed that it was a high-ranking position and encouraged Theo to keep working diligently, as he might also reach such a level one day. Theo, with his arrogance momentarily set aside, agreed to work hard. However, he couldn't help but chuckle mischievously inside, thinking about the day when he might rise to the position of chairman and have the authority to command Seo-jun as he pleased. Then, Theo prepares to leave for his work, his bag filled with the harvested cherry tomatoes. Seo-jun requests that Theo stops by the lottery store again and buys anything he likes because he doesn't want to let the cat's remarkable talent go to waste. Theo waves his paws dismissively and assures Seo-jun that he will be back soon before he departs. With Theo on his way to work, Seo-jun could now focus on harvesting the remaining cherry tomatoes in the row. His efforts were rewarded with 90 XP for picking 6 tomatoes at once, a 50% increase from the usual amount. He couldn't help but wonder why the XP gain was so high, and the answer became clear as he read the information window about the cherry tomatoes he had just collected. The reason for the high XP gain was that these tomatoes were of rank D. They were no ordinary tomatoes. Each D-ranked tomato could break down 20 grams of fat when consumed and boost stamina by 0.2 for 10 minutes. Their shelf life had also extended to 60 days. Seo-jun was astonished to see how upgrading the crop from E-ranked to D-ranked nearly doubled all its attributes. What's more, these D-ranked tomatoes were even tastier than the previous ones. Seo-jun wondered if there were more crops like this waiting to be discovered. He had recently leveled up significantly, becoming a D-ranked tower farmer. He suspected that all the crops he cultivated after leveling up had grown to D-rank. He pondered about how he could have introduced the D-ranked potatoes to the market and fetched an even higher price if Theo had waited a bit longer. However, it was pointless to dwell on it now. Seo-jun decided to find out how much the taste had improved as the rank of the tomatoes increased by 1. He suggested to his rabbit friends that they should enjoy the new tomatoes and then take a nap together. No one had any objection. As Theo made his way down to the 5th floor, he felt a sense of disappointment. Then the scene shifts, and we see the tower manager entering a dark room full of treasures. There was a super rare statue of the tower manager herself, whose name is Spleen Fratani. This statue was made by another dragon named Kaiser Fratana, using a piece of ice from the Blue Penguin Kingdom. But the tower manager didn't care much about this beautiful ice statue. She broke it into pieces and replaced it with the sweet potatoes that Seo-jun had given her. This room had a magic spell that kept things safe forever. So, instead of eating the cute-looking sweet potatoes, the tower manager decided to keep them here like a special treasure. She acted like a schoolgirl with a crush when talking about Seo-jun's gift. At first, she almost said, "my human," but then corrected herself, saying Seo-jun gave it to her, so she had to treasure it. The tower manager continued her usual routine of stalking Seo-jun through her crystal ball. When she saw him peacefully sleeping, she couldn't help but smile mischievously, her mind filled with naughty thoughts. However, her expression suddenly changed as she noticed something concerning, and her face turned serious. Seo-jun woke up because of many system notifications telling him to. He was confused and still sleepy when he asked the tower manager why she woke him up. The tower manager urgently told him it was no time to sleep. When Seo-jun looked around, he saw something scary at the cave's entrance and screamed. The black warrior rabbit on his shoulder also got curious. It was a red bear, but it was tiny, almost like a teddy bear. The tower manager tried to make it go away, but it slipped and ended up inside the cave. Seo-jun panicked and rushed to catch it, wondering if a dog had fallen from the sky. But when he checked the information, he found out it was a baby crimson giant bear, a bear that looked innocent but was still pretty big for a baby bear. It was just staring at Seo-jun with big eyes. Seo-jun was shocked as he held the baby giant crimson bear in his arms, wondering if it was the offspring of the monster that had once attacked the cave on a blue moon night. The giant crimson bear had been truly ferocious, and in comparison, its baby looked incredibly small and cute. Seo-jun was uncertain about what to do with the bear cub, who appeared quite innocent. However, the tower manager questioned why he had caught it. Seo-jun explained that he couldn't let the baby bear fall, as it would have been dangerous for the cub otherwise. The manager urged Seo-jun to send the bear out of the cave quickly, suggesting that its mother might be nearby and searching for it. Seo-jun decided not to send the baby bear away immediately. Instead, he gently placed the cub on the ground, feeling that it was too small to be separated from its mother just yet. He believed it would be better to wait for the mother bear to return and retrieve her offspring. But the baby bear noticed the rabbits and got excited because he had never seen creatures his size before. Playfully, he began to run towards the rabbits. However, the white rabbits, feeling a bit scared, quickly hid behind the chubby rabbits. The sickle rabbit and the warrior rabbit stood their ground, adopting a defensive stance. However, the tower manager issued a warning, stating that the crimson bear was a gluttonous monster and might consume all the food in the cave. Seo-jun thought the manager was overreacting and reassured that the baby bear was just a small cub, unlikely to cause any harm. He observed as the baby bear tried to befriend the black rabbit and felt joy seeing the rabbit patting the bear's head. While playing with the rabbits, the baby bear noticed the poison honeybees and their queen. He attempted to chase them, but the small honeybees perceived him as a threat to their queen, which made them aggressive. They glared at the baby bear and pursued it, causing the cub to become frightened and run to Seo-jun for protection. Clinging to Seo-jun's feet, the bear sought comfort, and Seo-jun spoke to the bees, explaining that the baby bear was not an enemy and should not be attacked. He then reassured the bear, explaining that the bees had reacted aggressively because of its sudden approach, and urged it not to cry. Seo-jun then asked the baby bear if it had rushed towards the queen bee because she is thick, because he had smelled something nice from her. However, the baby bear could only respond with cries, unable to provide a verbal answer. Seeing the cub in such a pitiful state, Seo-jun requested a favor from the queen bee. Although she initially resisted, the queen bee reluctantly agreed with a sigh. The queen bee prepared her special juice and gave it to the baby bear, placing it gently in his little hand. The baby bear's face lit up with joy as he received the sweet treat. He stared at the special juice for a moment, and Seo-jun encouraged him to take a bite. With excitement, the baby bear began licking the special juice, savoring its delicious taste. The chubby bear companions patted the baby bear's head affectionately, sharing in his happiness. Seo-jun realized that he had figured it out. The baby bear had chased the queen bee because of her honey. He watched as the bear savored the honey, with the queen bee elegantly sitting on Seo-jun's shoulder. After finishing the honey, the baby bear returned to Seo-jun, who continued to pamper it, and asked if it wanted more honey. However, the tower manager, who had been growing increasingly furious, suddenly snapped at Seo-jun, generating an emergency quest to remove the baby crimson bear from the cave. The reward for completing the quest was a job-related skill, and the penalty for rejecting it was starving to death. The manager expressed anger toward the baby bear, causing Seo-jun and the queen bee to be shocked. Seo-jun couldn't contain his frustration and shouted at the tower manager, deeming the situation unfair. He argued that the baby bear was just an innocent cub and couldn't possibly eat enough to endanger anyone. He even accused the manager of being jealous. The tower manager explained that she wants to keep Seo-jun safe and avoid making any mistakes that she might regret later. She's concerned about Seo-jun's well-being and thinks the baby bear could be a threat to him. Seo-jun, hearing this, became a little angry. He mentioned that he wasn't supposed to be on the 99th floor and ended up here because of her. He questioned why she was suddenly so concerned about his safety. Then the tower manager admitted it was her honest mistake that Seo-jun is stuck on 99th floor because of her, and asked Seo-jun to please listen to her order just this once. Hearing this, Seo-jun hugged the baby bear and mentioned that coming into the tower was a mistake too, which made him sad. It was the first time that the rabbits and bees saw him so down. However, the tower manager eventually gave up after seeing how gloomy Seo-jun and his friends looked, telling him he could do as he pleased. Seo-jun wasn't pleased either, and questioned why the manager was so worried about the little monster eating. He agreed to a compromise, saying he'd send the baby bear outside when the time was right. He lifted the baby bear, who was sleeping peacefully, and decided to let him stay in the cave for the day and send him back tomorrow. The next day, while everyone was still fast asleep, the baby bear woke up unusually early, his little mind set on a secret mission. After a while, the black rabbit awoke from his slumber, and as soon as he opened his eyes, he was struck with utter shock. His mouth hung wide open, and he began to scream in surprise. The commotion jolted Seo-jun awake, and he quickly realized that the baby bear was nowhere to be seen. Rubbing his eyes and yawning, Seo-jun scratching his little pee-pee, he made his way over to where the rabbits were gathered, their voices filled with anger and astonishment, and he was shocked by what he saw. There were half-eaten carrots and sweet potatoes scattered on the ground, and one of their storage areas was empty. The baby bear was rummaging through the remaining stores for more food, looking confused about what he had done wrong. Seo-jun was devastated, but the rabbits were furious. The black rabbit even grabbed his hammer, ready to scold the baby bear, while the others scolded him verbally. Seo-jun checked the remaining stores and found that 1/3 of their sweet potatoes and carrots had been eaten or damaged. After being scolded by the rabbits, the baby bear ran to Seo-jun and started crying. Seo-jun picked him up and realized that the baby bear had grown twice in size overnight, becoming much larger and heavier. Seo-jun remembered that plants and animals inside the tower grew at a different rate, and he wasn't surprised anymore. But he also remembered the tower manager's warning that the baby bear could eat all their food. He realized he should have listened to her. The manager sent Seo-jun another message, explaining that baby crimson bears were the biggest gluttons in the tower and could eat up to 100 kilograms of food every day if available. Seo-jun realized his mistake and asked for the manager's forgiveness, and the tower manager responds that she doesn't mind anymore since Seo-jun has apologized. Seo-jun then mentions that he thought the manager was jealous because he fed the baby bear cub. The tower manager clarifies that what's important now is to send the baby crimson bear away. Seo-jun agrees but wonders how to do it. Suddenly he gets a brilliant idea. He makes a rope out of onion leaves and ties it around the baby bear like a harness. After preparing everything, Seo-jun asks the team of rabbits outside the cave if they are ready. They are all set to help get the bear cub out. Using the rope, with the other end secured to a tree outside the cave, they begin pulling the bear cub up. Everyone, except the mother rabbit and the worker bees, puts in their full strength. Seo-jun encourages them, and slowly but surely, the baby bear starts coming out of the cave. However, once outside, the bear cub begins to struggle. He doesn't want to leave. He starts crying. Seo-jun offers him some honey to calm him down and explains that he should go back to his mom now. The honey helps soothe the bear, and he stops resisting being pulled up. Seo-jun and the queen bee wave goodbye as the baby bear cutely exits the cave while enjoying the queen bee's special treat. The bear also waves his hand, bidding his farewell. Then the quest to send him out is completed. The tower manager rewards Seo-jun with a skill called Seed Gathering Level 1, which slightly increases the chance of obtaining better seeds from harvesting crops. The bear cub is dropped off by the rabbits, and as they return to the cave, all of them are tired. Seo-jun commends them for their hard work, but then everyone feels hungry at the same time. Seeing their supplies depleted, he asks them if they should eat cherry tomatoes today. But then a few days later, something unexpected happens. Seo-jun and his rabbit friends are greeted by a giant bear that casts its shadow inside the cave, with the baby bear in her giant hands. It's the exact same bear that tried to attack Seo-jun on the blue moon. Everyone is shocked and afraid as they look upward with open mouths. The baby bear had invited his mama, the giant crimson bear. Now Seo-jun is sweating profusely as he imagined the mama bear angrily picking him up and scolding him for kidnapping her child for a full day. He fears that she won't forgive him and will eat him. Helpless against her enormous size and strength, Seo-jun begins to wonder if he will die here without ever seeing his family again. With fear gripping him, Seo-jun gets down on his knees and begs the mother bear to spare him, emphasizing that he's not tasty at all because the only thing he eats is tomatoes. However, much to Seo-jun's surprise, the mama bear appears puzzled rather than angry. The tower manager intervenes and explains that the mama bear isn't interested in eating Seo-jun. Instead, she conveys that the baby bear wants Seo-jun to provide her with the queen bee's special saliva-mixed honey to feed her cub, as the little bear loved the taste, and was begging his mother for it. Seo-jun takes a moment to process this unexpected turn of events. He realizes that the bear mom isn't here for herself, but for her cub. As the mother bear growls loudly, the black rabbit covers his ears, and the tower manager translates that the mother bear intends to protect the surrounding area in exchange for the honey. Relieved, Seo-jun and his rabbit friends are no longer in fear. He assures the giant crimson bear that he will provide her with the honey. The tower manager instructs Seo-jun to climb onto the mama bear's massive paw. He happily complies and settles onto the bear's paw. With a gentle motion, the giant bear slowly lifts him out of the cave. Seo-jun looks back at his well-tended farms inside the cave from this unique vantage point and feels a wave of nostalgia. He silently thanks his crops, which have thrived in the cave and sustained him during his time there. As he emerges from the cave, Seo-jun is momentarily stunned by the brightness of the outside world. Gradually, his eyes adjust, revealing a breathtaking sight. He can't help but exclaim in amazement as he takes in the vast expanse of the tower. In the center, there's a towering structure aglow with light, and a vast mountain range stretches outward from it towards his location. Seo-jun realizes that he's quite far from the central tower, making the mountains appear small and relatively barren from this distance. Still awestruck, Seo-jun questions whether this expansive area is really inside the tower. His gaze then shifts to the central tower and the radiant beam shooting skyward. Curious, he asks the tower manager about it. She explains that it's a waypoint, leaving Seo-jun shocked by the revelation that waypoints are the only means by which hunters can move between the tower's floors. These waypoints consist of giant magic crystals encased within stone structures. Seo-jun's hopes soar at the prospect of using the waypoint to escape the tower, first reaching the first floor and then the real world. However, the reality of how to reach the waypoint sets in. The distance seems insurmountable, especially at a normal human walking pace. So he turns to the mama bear and asks if she might be able to take him closer to the waypoint. The mother bear responds with something the tower manager interprets as a refusal. Seo-jun wants to understand why, and the manager explains that the area leading to the waypoint is not within her territory. To reach the waypoint, the mother bear would have to defeat approximately 3,000 monsters, each with its boss, in areas outside her territory. Even for her, this would be a challenging task. Understanding that there are formidable monsters on the way to the waypoint, Seo-jun realizes that the journey won't be easy, even with the bear's assistance. The mother bear then points to the forest on the other side of the cave, which the tower manager interprets as indicating her territory extends from the forest inside the cave to the surrounding area. She implies that while she can protect Seo-jun within her territory, outside of it, there are dangerous monsters that could harm him, and even she would struggle to defeat them while safeguarding him. Upon understanding the mother bear's message, Seo-jun said, "It's okay," with a sad face. Then we saw the queen bee, the white rabbits, and the black rabbit also coming out from the cave. The black rabbit brought Seo-jun's bag and handed it to him. Seo-jun thanks the black rabbit, and as the queen bee perches on his shoulder, the baby bear affectionately hugs the black rabbit. At first, the rabbit is taken aback, but he soon happily pats the bear cub's head. Meanwhile, the mother bear is communicating something to Seo-jun. As she exhales loudly, a powerful warm wind blows, startling the queen honeybee, who hides behind Seo-jun, clinging to him while the bear cub licks the warrior rabbit. Seo-jun grasps the mother bear's message this time and retrieves a bottle of honey from his bag. He tells the bear cub it's time to enjoy some honey, and the bear eagerly turns to him after having nearly drenched the black rabbit's face in drool. Excitement sparkles in the bear cub's eyes as it starts savoring the honey, with everyone watching. Seo-jun then asks the mother bear if she'd like some honey too, and the queen bee becomes even more timid. The tower manager conveys the mother bear's response that she's fine and wants Seo-jun to give the honey only to her cub. She explains that there wasn't much to eat in this area, which is why her cub hadn't been growing well. However, in just one day in the cave, he grew significantly. Reflecting on that day, Seo-jun feels upset, along with the queen bee. He realizes that the bear cub grew so much because it ate a substantial amount, nearly depleting their stored food. The mother bear adds that the honey's sweet smell will be very beneficial, and the queen bee, now bashful at receiving compliments, hides beside Seo-jun, covering her face with his shirt. Seo-jun then inquires if there was nothing for her to eat in the forest, and if she starved herself. He has recently learned that giant crimson bears consume a lot, and if the cub couldn't get enough food, she wouldn't either. The mother bear reveals that she had been starving for 3 days while searching for this cave, shocking Seo-jun. He firmly believes that, even though her baby is a priority, mothers shouldn't put themselves through such hardship. He tells her to wait for a moment and gives an urgent order to the black hunter rabbit. Seo-jun plans to showcase his culinary skills to the mother bear. Inside the cave, the black rabbit hunts for fish, while the sickle rabbit chops carrots into small pieces. Seo-jun quickly utilizes the ingredients his rabbit friends gathered to prepare a delicious stew. In the stew, he combines carrots, onions, tomatoes, and fish, creating a flavorful dish. As he tastes it, he deems it complete and perfect. Seo-jun not only makes a generous amount of stew for the mother bear, but also roasts skewers of fish and onions, whole roasted fish, and various vegetables. The giant crimson bear seems a bit bewildered by this feast, but her cub is already drooling with anticipation. Seo-jun explains that while the stew may have simple ingredients, it's rich in taste and nutrition, and the baby bear eagerly starts eating. Seo-jun encourages the mother bear to enjoy the meal as well, emphasizing that it will help her baby grow up healthy and well protected. At the mention of food, the mother bear can't contain her emotions and suddenly wraps her massive paws around Seo-jun and the 2 rabbits who assisted him, giving them a heartfelt bear hug. The embrace is overwhelming for them, and Seo-jun and the rabbits cry out in a mixture of surprise, happiness, and a hint of discomfort from the tight bear hug. Meanwhile, the tower manager was watching this from the office. Seeing this, the manager sighed, saying that she had been watching over the bear family ever since the bear cub left the cave a few days ago, because she was worried that the baby bear would call its mom to attack the cave. The manager did not know why, but the crimson giant bear wanted to establish friendly relations with Seo-jun. And since she thought it was a good thing, she stepped up and told the mother bear that she would act as an interpreter so that Seo-jun and the mother bear could become good friends. Now, happily with a big smile, she thought that she was glad that she would have more to eat if Seo-jun came out of the cave and increased his farming field. She thought that if the giant crimson bear became his bodyguard, she would have one less thing to worry about, and it would be like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And then she started praising herself, saying that this was to be expected of the genius Black Dragon. In the middle floors of the tower, within the Wandering Merchant Inspector Bureau, Inspector Zerath was engrossed in reading a report regarding Theo. Unfortunately, the report was quite lacking in information, especially considering Theo's status as a novice wandering merchant, which had afforded him certain protections within the tower. What Zerath did know was that Theo hailed from Granner Village and primarily conducted trade with humans on the lower floors. The sources from which Theo acquired his goods were unconfirmed. A similar lack of information surrounded Scarum, who, despite not appearing particularly skilled, managed to consistently turn a profit without revealing the sources of his merchandise. This raised suspicions for Zerath between Scarum and Theo. She was sure Theo was some smart burglar and would catch her. Just then, a subordinate entered and handed Zanath a file containing information about another case. This file listed stolen items that had been smuggled inside the tower. However, Zanath had little interest in this particular case. Her focus was primarily on Theo. But then another of Zerath's subordinates came to report that they had received information from one of their agents managing the passageway that a wandering merchant by the name of Theo had just arrived on the 75th floor. Zerath had been waiting for this opportunity and got up, leaving the current report on hiatus until the matter with the cat merchant was solved. She put on her hood, determined to find out the truth behind the wandering cat merchant while putting her honor as an inspector on the line. Meanwhile, unaware of the troubles coming for him, Theo was just busy eating some snacks in the market. 3 days have passed since Seo-jun made the deal with the mother bear to protect him and his farm in exchange for feeding her cub. Every morning, the mother bear and her baby pay Seo-jun a visit, and there's a warm exchange of greetings between them. Seo-jun then requests the mother bear to bring him outside the cave, and as she gently carries him out into the daylight, he presents her with a substantial package of food. The mother bear expresses her gratitude and she heads out to patrol the area, leaving her now sizable baby bear in Seo-jun's care. This routine has become their daily norm, and thanks to the security the mother bear provides, Seo-jun is gradually expanding his farming operations. Together with his rabbit companions, they begin moving their belongings outside the cave, slowly clearing the rugged terrain surrounding it. However, the situation outside is a stark contrast to the fertile underground soil they were accustomed to. Here the earth is dry, littered with rocks and pebbles, making it a challenging environment for crop cultivation. Seo-jun and his trusty shovel-wielding rabbit friend assess the situation, sharing mutual concerns about the soil's quality and the abundance of obstacles in their path. Just as worry begins to creep in, they are interrupted by the joyful roar of the baby crimson bear. They watch in amazement as he digs through the soil with boundless enthusiasm, as if he were swimming through it. He's thoroughly enjoying himself, and Seo-jun's black warrior rabbit and cart rabbit eagerly assist by removing the stones and pebbles from the freshly dug earth. Seo-jun is elated, witnessing their dedication and effort in improving the land. He praises the bear cub for his valuable assistance, declaring that stone removal will now be a much more manageable task. As a token of his appreciation, Seo-jun rewards the bear cub with a delicious roasted sweet potato, which the cub devours with great enthusiasm. Then Seo-jun decides to plant sweet potatoes because they might have a better chance of growing in the rocky soil. He's getting better at sowing seeds, which increases the likelihood of the sweet potatoes growing successfully. His skills are getting better, and he's gaining more experience. His rabbit friend with the shovel is there to help him. Seo-jun tells his rabbit companion that they can try growing cherry tomatoes later. However, as Seo-jun turns around, he's shocked to see the baby bear digging up and eating the sweet potatoes they just planted. He scolds the bear, letting him know they're not digging for treasures. The bear looks remorseful, realizing his mistake. Seo-jun understands that he needs to teach the bear how to plant, because they'll be staying here for a while. Meanwhile, Theo is back on the 38th floor of the tower to sell another batch of cherry tomatoes. He's selling them in groups of 300, and he has 180 of them in total. The hunters are excited about the auction. However, Theo notices that he's making less gold this time because the wealthy buyer from before isn't present. Dong-sik approaches Theo and asks if he has checked whether the contract from their previous deal has been fulfilled. Theo confirms that he has, and Dong-sik seems relieved. He requests a favor from Theo, a photo together because his daughter is fond of cats. Theo agrees, and in gratitude, Dong-sik gives him a pouch of red pepper powder. Curiosity got the best of Theo, and he became intrigued by why Seo-jun liked the spices so much. Ignoring Dong-sik's attempt to stop him, Theo decided to taste the chili powder for himself. As soon as he did, he regretted it instantly. His mouth was on fire, and he began jumping around in distress, leaving Dong-sik unsure of how to help him. After a while, we see Theo heading to the market city to upgrade his bag capacity now that he's a mid-level merchant. His face is still swollen from the red pepper powder, but he's determined to make the most of this opportunity. He's pleased that the increased bag capacity will allow him to carry more cherry tomatoes and increase his profits. He's willing to invest all the incentives he received from Seo Jun to upgrade his bag. Theo even jokes to himself that he might soon gather 1,000 tower coins and become a higher mid-class merchant. He daydreams about becoming the chairman and making Seo Jun kneel before him. However, as Theo plans to stop by the lottery store to complete Seo Jun's task, he's enticed by the delicious smell of roasted skewers from a roadside stall. He decides to soothe his still-hurting tongue by indulging in some good food first. He orders a dried fish, but the stall owner asks for 1 tower coin. Theo, now with a dominating aura he learned from Seo Jun, confidently asks for a discount. Panicked, the stall owner quickly gives him one. Theo happily munches on his dried fish as he continues on his way to the lottery shop. Then Theo bumped into someone, and Theo immediately recognized her as the pushover from the last time who almost got tricked by Scarum. Furious upon being called a pushover by the cat who ruined her operation, she was boiling in anger from the inside, but she had to keep calm to know all about Theo. Theo asked her what the matter was, and Zareth said that she never got to thank him for saving her back then, so she wanted to treat him to a meal. But boy, oh boy, after getting rejected by his first love, now our Theo is a Chad. Theo instantly rejected the offer, saying that he is busy and started moving forward. Hearing this, Zerath was in shock and tried her best to get him to come with her. She asked him not to be so cold and said they could just have tea if he did not have much time, but Theo said that he cannot drink hot thing. Zerath changed the bait and said that one of her friends works at a really popular dessert shop where people have to wait a few years for reservation, and they can have a very special dessert there for free. Now Theo was getting annoyed by her persistence and said that he does not even like sweet things. Now, Zareth was irritated after getting rejected so many times, and she had no choice but to take out her secret weapon. She then kneeled down before him and asked him to listen to her. Theo was flustered. Zerath put on an act, saying that she became a wandering merchant only recently, and that's why she lacked the skills of a merchant. She said she was very impressed when Theo saw through the clever ploy of the evil Scarum at once, and saved a complete stranger like her out of his consideration. She said that she respected Theo and wanted to learn his merchant skills, calling him the amazing and cool great wandering merchant cat, Sir Theo. Now hearing this, Theo was overjoyed to hear so many adjectives before his name, and he smugly said that since she was so insistent, he could teach her a bit. As Zareth thanked him, she grinned because her ultimate technique had worked again. Zareth is secretly proud of herself, as her unheeded begging technique has never failed her before. She watches as Theo, feeling a bit embarrassed and awkward, tells her to get up. She nervously complies, and then she asks him where he's headed. He replies that he's on his way to buy something from the smithy alley. This piques Zareth's curiosity. She decides to follow him silently, wanting to see what excellent items Theo is about to purchase. They eventually arrive at a shop, but Zareth is surprised by what she sees. The shop has a 50% discount on everything, and it looks rather shabby with a collection of old, unapprised items. It's essentially a junk store. She wonders what kind of merchant skills Theo intends to teach her in a place like this. Theo approaches the shopkeeper and inquires if the sign outside is true, that they really sell all items for 20 tower coins. The shopkeeper confirms it. Zareth recalls the premium and reputable shops they passed on their way here. She had suggested to Theo that if he was looking for items to resell, he should visit one of those stores. However, Theo just smugly laughed off her suggestion and told her to shut up and follow him. Now she finds herself in this seemingly run-down shop, where the owner has made it clear that most of the items are unappraised, old, and junk. Suddenly, Theo slams his paw on the table and loudly demands a discount from the shopkeeper, leaving Zenith shocked, thinking, "What the hell is Theo saying? Asking for a discount on a shop that is already offering a 50% discount? How stupid is that?" Theo was confident that he could secure a good deal. However, the shopkeeper surprised him by offering a slight discount, selling the items for 18 tower coins instead of the usual 20. This left Zareth speechless because Theo's bold tactics seemed to be working. Yet, Theo wasn't content with this reduction. He pushed for an even better deal, demanding a price of only 13 tower coins. He sweetened the deal by promising to become a regular customer if he received this discount. The shopkeeper, amused by Theo's determination, couldn't help but chuckle. He admitted it had been a while since he encountered such an entertaining merchant and agreed to the lower price of 13 tower coins. As Theo celebrated his triumph, Zerath couldn't quite fathom what had just transpired. She watched as Theo turned to her, grinning widely, and asked if she had seen his negotiation skills at work. She responded with praise, calling him cool, yet deep down, she couldn't shake the feeling that he had simply been stubborn. Then Zerath asks Theo what he was planning to buy here in the first place, and Theo takes a look around as he tells her that he will decide it soon. It does not take him long to find what he is looking for in an old wooden box, and he shows off an old straw hat to Zerath, saying he was planning to buy this. She cannot believe it, and asks Theo if he was serious about buying that trash thing, and he replies that he was serious but asks why she was reacting like this. Zerath asks him if he cannot see what was wrong with his choice because he did not even select a weapon, but a worn-out straw hat that definitely had to be junk. The shopkeeper hears her words and asks her if she has any complaints about his shop, and she is taken aback as she says there is nothing like that. Even Theo scolds her for being a nuisance, and she apologizes while being upset and confused about why she was apologizing. But Theo has decided to buy the straw hat as Sejun had told him to buy whatever he liked, and he liked the hat at first glance. Then they leave the shop, and he tells Zerath that since he has shown her everything, he will be going back now. She is confused, and Theo gently pats her shoulder while acting smug and tells her that his merchant techniques must have passed on to her nicely. He tells Zerath that he hopes that she becomes a good merchant, and with those parting words, he takes off. She is stupefied for a moment, but then thinks that she can't help it. She thinks that despite her doubts, it would be unnatural to follow the cat merchant any more than this, and decides to retreat for now. But as she turns to go back, something clicks within Zerath's mind. She turns back in shock, takes a good look at the straw hat with Theo, and suddenly remembers that it was on the list of height-level stolen items from the landlord. She was shocked and wonders if it was really the same hat, and she tries to convince herself thinking, there's no way, right? And was left with confusion. Inside the cave on the 99th floor, Seo-jun is meticulously extracting seeds from the carrot plants he cultivated. These carrots had unexpectedly blossomed earlier than he had anticipated, generously providing him with a bountiful harvest of seed. Seo-jun contemplates dividing them, with half to be sown inside the cave and the other half on the land. Lately, their carrot reserves have been dwindling, mainly due to the voracious appetite of the baby bear. The rabbits, growing increasingly impatient, also warrant a larger carrot crop. Just as he's immersed in this task, the cart rabbit and the black warrior rabbit excitedly call out to Seo-jun, signaling that they've caught some fish for breakfast. Seo-jun briefly ponders the morning menu and decides on fish soup. He instructs the black rabbit and the sickle rabbit to prepare the fish. He has a specific purpose in mind for this meal, to cater to the pregnant mother rabbit whose waning appetite has been a concern. Seo-jun heads to collect fresh cherry tomatoes, which he intends to incorporate into the soup. He deftly harvests a handful of them using his name dagger. The father rabbit calls out to Seo-jun, reminding him to stay focused and work efficiently. Seo-jun understands that this isn't the time for distractions. He continues to prepare the food, adding some finely cut carrot leaves as garnish, and serves the clear fish soup to the pregnant mother rabbit. He takes pride in his creation, and an information window appears, describing the fish soup as a clear broth infused with Seo-jun's love and care for the mother rabbit. It's made by simmering fish, carrots, and green onions for an extended period. Seo-jun emphasizes to the mother rabbit the importance of eating well, even if she doesn't have much of an appetite, as it's crucial for her health during pregnancy. The father rabbit feels a bit awkward, but appreciates Seo-jun's concern. Seo-jun reassures him that the others are managing the farming tasks efficiently, so he should focus solely on taking care of his wife. As the father rabbit begins to feed his wife, Seo-jun shares his excitement about the upcoming arrival of the baby rabbits. Outside on the roof, the baby bear calls out to Seo-jun, and he responds that he's ready. Seo-jun dons his backpack and carries a large basket made from green onion leaf. He informs his rabbit friends that they'll be heading out to eat, leaving the crops in the care of the cart rabbit and sickle rabbit inside the cave. Seo-jun secures the basket with a rope tied around his waist and makes sure it's firmly fastened. After confirming that everything is set, he signals to the baby bear to start pulling him up. And the baby bear, despite being small, easily pulled Seo-jun up while he stood on the basket made of onion leaves. This DIY elevator was made possible because of the mommy bear's help. A few days ago, the mommy bear had moved a massive boulder and placed it beside the cave entrance. Now, using the onion rope, Seo-jun could enter and exit as he wished with great ease. Seeing the baby bear's effort, Seo-jun started patting the bear, and the baby bear responded with a happy smile. However, as the bear starts sniffing around the breakfast basket and scratching it, Seo-jun realizes that the bear's eagerness is primarily for breakfast. Seo-jun grants the bear's wish and reveals a bunch of roasted sweet potatoes. He explains that while the bear usually eats them raw, today he'll try the roasted one. Seo-jun had saved some sweet potatoes from last night's cooking, despite the manager's protests. The bear is completely captivated by the taste of the roasted sweet potatoes, eating them enthusiastically, even including the onion leaf cover. Seo-jun advises him to slow down, but by then only one sweet potato remained. Then, the baby bear had an idea. He grabbed a sweet potato in his mouth and started digging in the soil. Seo-jun, puzzled, asked the bear what he was up to. The bear pointed at the roasted sweet potato he'd just buried in the ground and patted it down. Seo-jun questioned if the bear planned to eat the sweet potato after it grew. The bear proudly nodded, thinking he'd mastered the concept of farming. However, Seo-jun and the rabbits burst into uncontrollable laughter, rolling on the floor. The bear was baffled. Seo-jun explained that planting cooked food in the ground wouldn't make it grow. Farming didn't work that way. Despite their laughter, Seo-jun promised to make more sweet potatoes for the bear. He wiped away tears of mirth and admitted it was the best laugh he'd had in a while, all thanks to the bear. But the bear's antics weren't over. Seo-jun heard a squishing sound and turned to see fish buried in the soil. The bear had planted the fish meant for breakfast. Seo-jun and the rabbits were shocked and didn't know what to say. Seo-jun realized they needed to give the bear some lessons on farming. The rabbits seemed to agree, especially considering the bear had just planted all his food in the ground and was now hungry. Meanwhile, inside the honeybee comb, which had become a grand inverted castle, the queen poisonous honeybee sat alone in her chamber. She looked gloomy and uncertain as she held a special egg in her hand. Then we see the baby bear in a fighting position, his eyes glowing red with a terrifying aura, while the warrior rabbit also readied his fighting stance, holding his hammer. The baby bear charged towards the warrior rabbit with a playful smile, but the warrior rabbit easily dodged by jumping high into the air. Then, the warrior rabbit struck the baby bear with 3 heavy hits, thinking the fight was over. But suddenly, the baby bear's claws reached from behind, shocking the warrior rabbit. Instead of attacking, the baby bear hugged the warrior rabbit and began licking him. It turned out to be nothing more than a playful session for the bear. The warrior rabbit, a bit surprised, started attacking the baby bear seriously again. However, it seemed like mere play for the baby bear, as not a single hair on the warrior rabbit was even scratched. Seo-jun, watching them, wondered whether they were training or just playing around. The chubby cart rabbit approached Seo-jun, carrying tomato and honey juice in carrot cups. Seo-jun took one of the cups and thanked the rabbit as he enjoyed a refreshing sip. The cart rabbit returned the greeting, and as Seo-jun relished the drink, his attention was drawn to the poisoned honeybees emerging from their nest. It seemed like they were starting their daily patrol, and Seo-jun wished them a safe journey. But what surprised him was when he noticed the queen honeybee among them. Her demeanor was unusually serious as she carried a small, round object wrapped in onion leaves. She flew purposefully towards Seo-jun, leaving him puzzled. It didn't make sense for the queen bee to be outside her hive, especially when she should have been busy with her duties. Seo-jun voiced his confusion and asked the queen bee about her unexpected presence. In response, the bee made an indistinct sound and gently placed the small wrapped object into Seo-jun's outstretched hands. His curiosity piqued. Seo-jun inquired about the nature of the object, but the queen bee simply shook her head before flying away. The other bees followed her, returning to the cave. With a sense of intrigue, Seo-jun decided to unwrap the mysterious gift he had received. As he carefully peeled away the layers, he made an astonishing discovery. Nestled inside was a cocoon, but not just any cocoon. It was the cocoon of a poisoned bee queen. This revelation left Seo-jun in awe. He realized that this cocoon was the result of the queen bee consuming his special juice and becoming pregnant. Now, it was destined to transform into another thick queen bee. rather than an ordinary worker bee. With 10 days remaining until the cocoon's hatching, Seo-jun grasped the significance of what he held in his hand. He understood that the newly emerged queen bee would regard the first being it saw as its owner. His rabbit companions listened attentively as he shared these remarkable details, still captivated by the revelation. Seo-jun understood the implications of the queen bee's gift. If a new queen were to emerge prematurely in a hive unprepared for a split, it would lead to a significant weakening of the hive's strength. He realized that the queen bee had entrusted him with the cocoon for this very reason. Seo-jun surmised that this cocoon held great importance to the queen bee, and his excitement bubbled over. He couldn't contain his joy, and in his exuberance he startled the rabbit perched on his shoulder, causing it to tumble to the ground. Seo-jun exclaimed with delight, recognizing this as a remarkable opportunity. He was determined to put in the effort to ensure that the cocoon would hatch into an exceptional queen poison honeybee. With enthusiasm, he cheered on the future queen within the cocoon, eagerly anticipating their eventual meeting. Meanwhile, Theo had just returned from his sales expedition, having journeyed from the lower floors to the 99th floor. He was very happy, singing as he made his way towards Seo-jun's cave. Then he started laughing weirdly, thinking about how Seo-jun would kneel down, and he would enjoy the authority of ordering Seo-jun around. However, as he approached the cave entrance, he noticed a baby crimson bear. Seeing this, he got shocked and started screaming, wondering what a crimson bear was doing at the entrance of Seo-jun's cave. But then Theo noticed something. It was Seo-jun's bag in the crimson bear's mouth. Now all sorts of bad thoughts started racing through Theo's mind. His face turned pale and he became very nervous and scared, thinking, "Did the crimson bear kill Seo-jun?" He fell to the ground, crying, while the baby bear looked on in confusion. A dark aura surrounded Theo as he unsheathed his claws and screamed in anger, saying that he hadn't even used his remaining time to become Sales Cat Theo, and now he had killed Seo-jun. With tears in his eyes and a deep rage burning within him, he leaped toward the crimson bear to strike it, while the bear remained bewildered, not understanding what it had done wrong. But before Theo could land a hit, Seo-jun emerged from behind, greeting Theo and welcoming him. Theo was paused in midair, shocked. Then he gently landed on the ground and suddenly jumped onto Seo-jun's face, who was hanging on the onion rope as he emerged from the cave. Seo-jun clung to the rope as he almost fell because of Theo suddenly jumping onto him. Then Theo, in a panic, started asking Seo-jun if he was okay and if he was hurt anywhere. Confused, Seo-jun asked what Theo was saying, but without listening to Seo-jun, Theo crawled towards Seo-jun's legs, checking if he was hurt anywhere or not, while Seo-jun was shouting that he would actually fall at this rate and then get injured for real now. Theo, not satisfied with just the presence of the giant crimson bear cub, bombards Seo-jun with questions. He asks Seo-jun to explain what's going on with the bear. Seo-jun, displaying patience with his inquisitive sales cat, asks Theo to limit his questions to one at a time. He steps out of the cave and proceeds to provide a comprehensive explanation. Seo-jun introduces the giant crimson bear cub to Theo, recounting how their friendship began when the cub accidentally fell into the cave. He explains that they quickly became friends, and now he has an arrangement with the bear's mother. She guards the surrounding areas in exchange for food and honey for her cub. Theo, although initially skeptical, starts to grasp the situation better. Even his rabbit friends confirm Seo-jun's account. With some relief, the cat merchant admits that he was concerned that the giant crimson bear might have devoured Seo-jun. Seo-jun acknowledges Theo's apprehension, recognizing that the cub's size could indeed pose a threat to humans. He realizes that it's time to give the bear a proper name instead of simply referring to him as a cub, making it easier for everyone to address him. Seo-jun enlists Theo's assistance in communicating with the bear cub to determine its name. Through their exchange with the bear, Seo-jun translates its response for Theo. The bear cub claims that it doesn't know anything about having a name. Since the bear cub appears excited about receiving a new name, Seo-jun decides to assign it a temporary name. He's quite pleased with his choice, believing it to be excellent. When Theo inquires about the name, Seo-jun, with an air of smugness, reveals that he's chosen the name Kyung for the bear cub. Seo-jun's choice is based because the baby bear keep crying Kyung all the time. But Theo and the two rabbits present don't share his enthusiasm for the name. The fat cart rabbit's expression clearly indicates his disapproval. Theo, stepping forward, gives Seo-jun a thumbs down and criticizes his naming sense, stating that he lacks the skill for naming. Seo-jun is taken aback by Theo's reaction and turns to comfort the bear cub. He inquires inquires if the cub likes its new name, Q, and proceeds to give it chin rubs and head pats while addressing it by the chosen name, seeking its opinion on the matter. Before the bear cub can respond, Seo-jun takes matters into his own hands by tickling the bear cub until it's rolling on the floor, unable to utter a word. It becomes evident that this was Seo-jun's ploy to coax the bear cub into accepting its new name, and it appears to have worked. However, Theo is growing increasingly frustrated with the attention Q is receiving. Climbing onto Seo-jun's head, he implores Seo-jun to stop tickling the bear cub and directs his attention to what he has brought. Theo opens his bundle and presents Seo-jun with a pouch filled with tower coins, proudly declaring that he has successfully completed all the missions and sold everything as well. Seo-jun congratulates the cat merchant on his accomplishments, commending him for a job well done. In response to Theo's query about the duration of his time as the sales cat, Seo-jun informs him that when considering the remaining time from before, he has around 38 hours left to enjoy his preferred position. Theo rejoices at the prospect of luxuriating in the privileges of being a sales cat and expresses his intention to make the most of it. He asks Seo-jun for the churros, which Seo-jun holds in his lap, and begins to feed the cat merchant by hand. Theo is thoroughly content, complimenting Seo-jun on his excellent work this time, all while enjoying his favorite treats from the comfort of Seo-jun's lap. However, a sudden turn of events occurs when the baby bear unexpectedly pushes Theo aside and licks the churro instead. Theo is quick to notice this and directs a disdainful look toward the bear cub. He questions the bear cub's audacity for touching his churro and for intruding upon Seo-jun's lap while he was there. Fuming with anger, Theo warns the bear cub that he won't be forgiven for his actions and appears ready to attack him once more. Seo-jun is barely able to restrain Theo, preventing him from launching an attack on the sobbing bear cub. The bear's cries grow louder, reaching a deafening crescendo that leaves those in proximity stunned. Suddenly, the entire forest begins to tremble, creating an eerie atmosphere. As Seo-jun comprehends the impending catastrophe, a wave of terror courses through him. There's little time for him to react, for with astonishing speed and power, the mother bear emerges from the forest. Seo-jun and Theo can only gape in shock as she hurtles towards them. The colossal mother bear lands gracefully before them, and the shockwave generated by her arrival is enough to knock Seo-jun off his feet. Then the baby bear, while crying, tells his mommy that Theo bullied him, while the mommy bear stares at Theo menacingly, as if she could crush him like a bug. On the other hand, Theo is in turmoil, his tail tucked between his legs, and he is shivering in fear, as he might pee any second now. Seo-jun is left wondering what will happen next. So, the episode ends here. If you would like me to continue the series, please subscribe and comment next part. Thank you for watching.